Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. It's a serious show that really doesn't take itself seriously, but after the Olympics, it's big dollars. It's Ryan Lochte not seeing those big dollars. It's Katie Ledecky deferring those big dollars. It's Michael Phelps wrapping up those big dollars, and it's Simone Biles wrapping up those big dollars as well. It's the U.S. men's soccer team not even getting close to the big dollars. The women's soccer team squandering them away, and on and on and on. But the scene shifts in many ways to the Midwest. And how about this? Naming rights deals. Hard Rock and the Dolphins, congratulations to them. New Era and the Bills, congratulations to them. But the Chicago White Sox announced a 13-year naming rights deal with mortgage lender Guaranteed Rate. The deal will begin on November 1 as the White Sox Stadium will be switched from U.S. Cellular Field to Guaranteed Rate Field. Sprint bought U.S. Cellular's Spectrum in Chicago in 2013. News of the name change triggered immediate bemusement on social media with the hashtag Better Sox Stadium names trending in Chicago. Well, it's not their choice. It's the choice of the people who are going to pay. How about Minnesota? In response to a survey the team sent out to season ticket holders this summer, the Minnesota Wild are now planning to change their goal song to the iconic Prince song. How about that? Let's Go Crazy. The change meant to honor the Minneapolis native and rock and roll legend who passed away tragically in the past year. Fans voted nearly 2-1 in favor of changing the song. The team initially began playing the Prince song in its season-ending postseason loss right after his death. Back in '96, the NHL used Let's Go Crazy in an ad promoting that year's postseason. So this song has been around the league for 2 decades now, a response to crowd chants following goals in home games, and the song the Wild have been using since 2005. It's more than a song, but we had a rare treat this week touring U.S. Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis with the guys that built it and the team that'll inhabit it. Kevin Warren of the Vikings and John Hutchings of HKS both took us on a tour from beginning to end and gave us some interesting perspective. And that is our main part of our show tonight, beginning with tonight, the NFL season a week away. The scene shifts to Minnesota. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, speak with you in a couple of minutes.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99. And there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit tocowarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the certified pre-owned sales event, now through August 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and 0.99% APR financing on select models, available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties. APR offer available only to qualified customers. Call 1-800-FOR-Mercedes for details about costs and terms.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Billion-dollar, trillion-dollar sports business post-Olympics, heading into NFL football, and the Vikings clearly made the playoffs last year, look pretty good this year, largely because of an incredible new stadium. The team's value is 39th worldwide, 18th in the NFL, but get this, 39 of all of the top 50 franchises around the world. And why is that? A billion-dollar stadium called U.S. Bank, $348 million of state, $150 million of city, and $551 million donated by the team and private. With U.S. Bank and a $220 million naming deal, it's important for the economics, but also renovating the downtown East neighborhood, 2018 Super Bowl, 2019 Final Four, X Games played in the building, opening against the Packers on September 18. 1961, the Vikings were expanded. 1981, the Met was torn down. 1982 to 2013, played in the Metrodome, and now a brand spanking new facility. Taking a tour a week ago, beginning with John Hutchings, award-winning architect from HKS, the firm that designed and built, among other things, Dallas, AT&T, and Arlington for the Cowboys, Lucas Oil for the Colts, obviously other facilities, including the new one for the Rams in L.A., and now U.S. Bank. John Hutchings. U.S. Bank Stadium, downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's hard to imagine that the Vikings started in 1961 at Metropolitan Stadium in the Mall of the Americas, at the Mall of the Americas, not in it, because right now there's no trace of Metropolitan Stadium. All the history was made with the Vikings, and then in 1982, they moved into what was then the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome and spent 20-some-odd seasons there. There was a cry for a new stadium, a lot of discussions, a lot of false starts. I know I was part of some of those old false starts with the NFL. What happens is a $1 billion facility with half of it or so coming from the Vikings and about $350 million from the state, $150 million from the city, a true public-private partnership. We have the people who are really important to this public-private partnership today, and plus a very interesting trip on this amazing spaceship, an incredible voyage. Inside, it looks like an incredible stadium. Outside, it looks like nothing you've ever seen. And the guys who basically designed this facility from beginning to end are successful in a long line of facilities. Dallas, Indianapolis, now Minnesota, and then Los Angeles for the new Rams Stadium. John Hutchings, HKS Architects, one of the foremost architectural firms in the business. How are you?
I'm good, Rick.
Good. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
We've bamboozled John and Hutch into giving us a tour of this facility in a way that you probably will have never seen before. And then Kevin Warren, who is the COO of the Vikings, CEO, COO, works with the Wilf family, been here for a long time, corporate lawyer, deal maker, involved in the NFL from the Vikings perspective. And so this is a facility that everybody's going to understand as soon as end of August, beginning of September. We have people cleaning the building, getting ready to go. We have Facebook, selfies. We have everybody doing it. Shout out to my daughter, the producer, Caroline Horrow, who has now, she's not getting any salary for this because she's getting a mention. Thank you very much for that. And the bottom line of this is we're having some fun. We're going to talk generally about the facility. We're going to take a tour of the building. We're going to talk about public-private partnerships in the NFL. And we're going to talk about stadium development best practices and the like. So, Hutch, let's start with this. You see behind us, Caroline, take a look at the skyline and what we've got here. This facility is basically an urban site. It's a transformative urban site, but when you did the original site selection with the Vikings, it wasn't always that way. You had a lot of suburban sites to choose from too, right?
It was, and we always recommended to the authority, the MSFA, and the Vikings that this was the best site because it's on a transit line. We predict that 1/3 of all of the 66,200 folks will come here via a sustainable the rail system called Met Transit here, which is great. So also it's an area of downtown that was underdeveloped, and Wells Fargo's come in and developed 1.5 million square feet. There's a big park over my shoulder called the Commons that's going to be a great place for congregation, not only for this part of downtown East, but of course for the foreground for the Super Bowl in 2018. And we have 3 acres in front of the stadium and another 3 acres on the other side of the street, Chicago Avenue. So we have a great forecourt for all kinds of pregame activities for Vikings fans and fans of all the other events that are going to happen here.
And by the way, the sounds that you hear are one of the reasons why parking is not going to be an issue here. It's not just because the downtown parking is available for Sundays, but it's also we've heard 3 trains go by in that short, pithy Hutch soundbite there.
You can go ahead and clean around.
And there's a lot more. Yeah, no, go ahead and clean, because the more you clean, the less we'll have to. Really appreciate that. That's really good. We're getting ready for this, by the way. Everybody understands top priority. So this is the kind of confluence point for transit in a downtown area. The Target Field and Target Center is, about a mile down the road?
Yeah,
basically.
The other end of downtown, basically.
Yeah, so what this is, you could see it as kind of a giant renewal project that links the basketball and baseball stadium to the football stadium with growth in between. So let's now shift to, Caroline, look, go up there, and it was called, so let's look at the roof.
Wait a minute, this isn't a roof, it's a wall that pretends it's a roof. We call this the prow, and it faces the downtown. You'll see it later from the inside, but it's kind of a unique space here on this deck. Once the cover comes off of the fire pit, the fans will enjoy the inclement weather that are used to it here in Minnesota.
And the most important thing from my chemical background is when you look at this thing originally, you see the ethylene tetrafluoroethylene roof, ETFE.
Well, when the lights,
okay?
You did.
Yeah, okay.
When the light's right, you can see the roof through the stadium blazing on this west face.
And it's everybody take note, and we want to start out here for a reason. Take note about how effectively dark and reflective this is from the outside. And you can really see you see the train right there. That's not a train. That's a reflection of the train, which is just really incredible. So let's go inside and take a look at the stadium itself, the bowl itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn more about ETFE and its chemical derivatives, don't ask me. Don't ask me.
Rick,
I have no idea. I'm barely a lawyer, let alone a scientist.
It has been around for 50 years. DuPont created it, so
So really, it's
been used in Europe and New Zealand. The Beijing water cube is made out of ETFE and actually has more than this one does. But this is the largest installation of the ETFE in North America, with over 200,000 square feet on the south side roof.
So it's a roof covering.
Yes,
basically,
yes.
And it's a light enhancing or light moderating thing.
Yes.
All right. So the Mystic Lake Club Purple, and talk about this thing for a minute.
Well, what we designed this space for in concert with our client, the MSFA and the Vikings, was to create a place for the millennials where we've got some banquette seating you'll see in a minute with a club, and then the outdoor deck behind you. The garage doors can come down so that when we're not air conditioning the bowl, you can still have an air-conditioned event in here with great food product and great beverage and lively entertainment for fantasy football or whatever they want to do.
Just remember in the old 60s, early 60s, mid-60s, the pre-Fran Tarkenton days, and when the team played in Bloomington, they had some folding chairs, and they charged a couple bucks for it, and that was their PSL. Now, the architects get a hold of it, and it's banquettes, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go down to a banquet.
Let's go down to a banquet.
That's why they pay the architects the big bucks. We'll talk about HKS. I know how proud you are of being given the honor of doing this facility in a long line of Indy and Dallas and now LA. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
So. Rick Horrow, sports professor. First part of the tour, U.S. Bank. John Hutchings talking to us about the facility, what it's like and what on the inside. A really big deal. The bottom line is more on the tour. Coming back in a couple of minutes.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Insphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard, serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but we're inside U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. John Hutchings, HKS Architects, leading us into the parts of the facility that include not only preparation for NFL season, but baseball, X Games, Final Four basketball, and otherwise, and it's all HKS's unique doing of designing a multi-purpose stadium. John Hutchings. This is incredible when you take a look at what this building looks like. Take a look at this. It's cloudy now, which is kind of too bad. Although when you pan over there, you can see some of the blue sky. You really feel outdoors in here. You really do. It's amazing.
Well, that's the whole thing we tried to do was we told our clients and the Vikings that we wanted to create an outdoor field indoor so that you had all the creature comforts of air conditioning, because there aren't that many games where you're going to have the perfect weather where we can open these big doors we'll talk about in a while. But when we do, it's going to be special.
Show them the banquettes.
This is a new seating product, the first time it's been done in the NFL, where we have a club back behind and have basically a living room. So
do you want me to sit next to you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's the beauty of Facebook Live, is I get to nuzzle up to my buddy here. How's that? Is this good, ladies and gentlemen? How's that? This is perfect. Oh, sorry. Okay, we good? We connected? Everything's still okay? So what happens seating wise? People buy a ticket in there and they sit. I mean, this is an incredible place. So you see us here. This feels like a club. Now, Caroline, turn and see how close it is. These are really good NFL seats. It's concert seats. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but Luke Bryan is here, Metallica is here, AC Milan was here, the X Games are here, Final Four, Super Bowl 52. But the important thing to remember is you can sit here, have a drink, have something to eat, and these are among the best seats in the house in any stadium in the country. This is a great idea.
Yeah, we think this is going to be used in most of the other product that we hope to develop in the NFL. But this is, like I say, the first time we've done it, and it's fun. Everybody said they really like this space.
What are the economics of this? So you buy a ticket in there. Do you have assigned seating?
I think you buy an area, but I don't know whether they have more than one group that can be in the single banquet area or not. These are big enough where you could have 4 groups of 4 and still be comfortable.
And if you put on a lot of weight, you buy an area and a half?
Probably so, Rick.
Sorry. Talk a little bit about the bowl from your perspective here. This is a good spot to do it.
Okay. Well, the bowl's completely different on the north side than it is the south side. We had a requirement of our client to play collegiate baseball because it's too cold at the start of the season for the University of Minnesota to play outdoors, even though they've got a nice outdoor facility. So these rows on the north side are the largest retractable rows in the world. They retract 32 rows so that we make a field big enough to play collegiate baseball. The home plate's down about where that forklift is sitting.
Imagine that, yeah. So
the right field line's at about 304. The power alley's still over 400. So everything works for collegiate baseball, and we put a net, of course, over on that side. But besides the 32 rows, all 4 areas from about the 25-yard line towards the end zone we call red zone, and the red zone seating is a little bit upgraded, nicer amenities in terms of concession stands. So that's the way we shape that portion of the lower bowl. On the south side, you can see the number of breaks we have. We have a really cool club that you'll see in a while with Kevin Warren of the Vikings and some new product down there with field suites. At the end, on the east side, we have the touchdown suites, which you can see where the group of people are on that side. And then we have the closest suites in the NFL at row 16, where we have the founding partners and the ownership group having some really nice views from there. And then about 12, 14 rows above that, we have main concourse suites on each side.
The interesting thing about this perspective, I've been in all the stadiums, is that the premium seats clearly have the benefit of premium access, and they cost more, as they should. That's an income source for the club.
Sure.
But the facility itself feels so intimate. Maybe it's because of the way the roof is designed. Also, you were mentioning earlier, there are no right angles in here, basically. I mean, everything is unique.
The contractors didn't like us very much.
I'm sure they didn't, but, you're making your own statement. You're not appeasing contractors. You're making your own statement. And the bottom line is, those top seats up there, people will feel intimate and not distracted. You have the scoreboards on either side, in some part because you didn't want the scoreboard in the middle, too. You wanted it...
The Vikings didn't necessarily want a large shadow cast on the field of play. So we had several discussions both with the Vikings and the MSFA, and they arrived at end zone locations for the 2 scoreboards.
Speaking of that, what's that big tooth? What is that thing? Is that wait? That's a Gallarhorn.
That's a Gallarhorn.
Darn. All right, let's go see a Gallarhorn, okay? And I understand from my Scrabble games at home, it's spelled G-J, J-G, G-J.
G-J.
Horn. G-J Horn.
That's the Nordic influence.
Yeah, got it. Well, I guarantee you, different strokes for different folks and for different stadiums. You have your architecture here. We're going to see some art later on, which will be an interesting piece dramatically. Will surprise the audience. But if you want a Jallarhorn, you do it here. This is the world's home for a Gallarhorn.
So I think they're planning on doing this potentially for touchdowns and big events, for Vikings events. So they've paid to have a special platform installed so that we could do that, and it's actually got a great view of the field of play.
Now, for all of you NFL fans who remember that sound when the Vikings score or third down, just put yourself right here, because that's going to be it. You're going to have 66,248 very inebriated fans within earshot of this.
Well, hopefully all of them aren't inebriated.
No, some will be, right.
Well, let's go up and take a look at the West Plaza and the largest hinged doors in the world. You want to do that?
The largest hinged doors in the world. So you get a sense, folks, of how close this building is to downtown, and not only that, how the skyline will showcase, or the skyline showcased downtown, unlike to fit the stadium into downtown.
It was a great site with a lot of potential. We ended up getting rid of a street and kept one lane so that we could service the building.
Good job. Wow. Good job.
You didn't fall.
Very good. By the way, she just dismounted an escalator, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.
So this door is 55 foot wide and 95 foot tall. The area you see that is a triangular shaped truss is the support of the door because they're quite massive. But on a great day when it's 65 degrees outside, they can choose to open these doors. And I think they're using the same strategy that they do for retractable roofs, that the team has to make a decision about 90 minutes before the start of game time whether to open the doors up.
That is interesting. Is that so the rules?
That's kind of the NFL rule for retractables. They have stated will apply for these hinged doors.
Interesting. And from a competitive perspective, there are very specific rules about what retractable roof control is taken by the team versus the league at a certain time.
Yes.
So that applies here.
Yes.
Interesting. The world's largest hinged doors. So I'm here.
This views down to the balcony deck when we were outside, so you can see it now is not reflective but transparent, so you can enjoy the Mill District of the city and the downtown east area.
And look how massive the structure is.
Well, we didn't do like we did the last two NFL stadiums. We only have a single super frame truss. Yeah. So when we get in the bowl again, you can kind of see the fact that singular asymmetrically placed truss dominates, and it allowed us to get a bigger roof on the south side where we have the ETFE.
Amazing. So obviously, let's talk HKS for a minute too, as we're talking. Are you industry leader, and it's a very competitive market. There are a lot of companies that do stadiums and arenas broadly defined, but between Dallas, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Jerry Jones's Palace, and which way should we go?
This one.
And Indianapolis, Lucas Oil, where you had the Super Bowl there in 2012. And this building, destined for the Super Bowl in 17, and now you've got the deal.
In 18.
18, sorry. And now you've got the deal to do the Rams building, too.
Yes.
So it's, how do you constantly and creatively evolve in order to stay on top?
Well, each we learn the things that we did right from each one and try to apply that. We were the first to introduce field-level suites at Cowboys AT&T Stadium, and that was chosen by the Vikings to do on the one side. Of course, since the other side retracts for baseball, we couldn't put suites over there, but a lot of the lessons learned from these other NFL stadia we packed into this one in for what I think, is one of the finest stadiums in the NFL right now because it's got all the best bells and whistles. It doesn't have quite the size of Cowboys, but it certainly has all the amenities.
John Hutchings, HKS, taking a tour with us of a beautiful facility that it cost over $1 billion to build, $1.1 billion, but countless billions of dollars in economic impact coming back on a regular basis. Rick Horrow, sports professor, the Vikings perspective on this in just a minute.
And now, today's General Steel building tip. Buy a large lot with a friend or family member that can be split into 2 smaller lots. Some of the most appealing properties may be much larger than what you want or can afford. Yet the seller may not be willing to break up a large parcel. So if you can share the costs with someone else, preferably someone you don't mind having as a neighbor, you may be able to pick up a great building site for a reasonable price. And now, a word from General Steel.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-95-STEEL.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Vikings spending $550 million of the $1.1 billion facility to become even more competitive, but an incredible facility that will rival even the best and maybe even surpass it. Kevin Warren, COO of the Vikings for years after beginning his law practice at Greenberg Traurig and then going to other teams around the NFL. Kevin Warren, one of the foremost football executives and business executives of the NFL. His perspective from the Vikings. So, did you ever think this was going to get done?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a great project. It's good for us to come together. The community will use it, and we hope we win a lot of football games here and one day can bring a Lombardi trophy back here to this building.
Isn't it amazing how the enhancement of a brand makes people feel differently and better about the team on the field, and then on the field all of a sudden things happen differently that you didn't even expect. It happens in a lot of different sports, and we've all seen that. The important thing I think people ought to also remember is that this is not just a football stadium. You've already had AC Milan as we tape this. You're having Luke Bryan. You're going from Luke Bryan to Metallica, which certainly pushes the ends of music. But it's designed for baseball. You have a Final Four that's committed for 2019. You'll be in the Super Bowl February 4th, 2017, or you'll be around it, and you'll have the X Games. This is truly an entertainment facility, not just a sports venue.
Absolutely. I mean, you think that there will be some activity that will go on here on a daily basis, and all the way from weddings to bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs and major concerts, major soccer games, high school football, baseball, our games, the X Games, like you said, we have the Final Four for 2019, the Super Bowl in 2018. There are just a lot of excellent events, and I think what it shows is that this building was created in a way that it will cater to various groups, and people will be able to enjoy it at different levels, and so that's what we're excited about.
How important was the downtown urban development regeneration aspect from Target on one side to you guys on the other side?
I think very important. I mean, you think about it, there's been $1 billion that's been invested in this area, and it's changed the complexity of it. I mean, there was a great picture in the Star Tribune a couple months ago where it showed a picture of downtown of where it was before this project began. But if you look what's happened now with the park and the commons area, the condominium, the apartment development, just the energy in this area of town is outstanding. So I think being in an urban setting was critical to the success of this project. And Rick, what's interesting about this is really it was 31 months ago that we played our last football game here. That's just, that's astonishing to think we actually played a football game that short a period of time in the same location. Because if you look at the most recent stadiums, whether it's Indianapolis or Dallas or the New York Giants or San Francisco, they're built in a different location, which is much easier. So as I tell people all the time, I mean, we really had 2 stadium projects going on. One getting ready to go play at the University of Minnesota, but to be able to tear the Metrodome down and then rebuild it here and have it ready to operate within 30 months is nothing short of a miracle.
We'll get back to that miracle in a minute, but it's actually 2.5 because you got a training facility that's just opened up as well. Tell us about TCO.
Yeah, so we're excited. I mean, we knew, just like you said, anytime you want to rebuild and reshape a brand, one of the areas that you can start in is one, building an outstanding stadium, but then also building a place that you practice and spend most of your days. You think about it here, the Vikings, I mean, we'll play at least 10 games here and hopefully a couple more playoff games a year here. We have an excellent young football team under the leadership of Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman. But in order to round that out, to really get us ready for the next 30, 40, 50 years, is that we needed to develop a practice facility. So we purchased 200 acres in Eagan, Minnesota, which is probably 12 miles from downtown. It's the former Delta Airlines, Northwest Airlines site. And so the topography of that land is beautiful. It's rich. It has lakes. So we broke ground on that last Tuesday. And then we also announced a 20-year naming rights partnership with Twin Cities Orthopedics, which will allow us to develop the best environment, best in class, a world-class environment for our players, staff, and coaches, because for the last 2 years we've had our employees in 3 different locations, out at Winter Park where we currently are, another building across the street, and then we had our other sales and marketing and ticket office people here across the street from the stadium. So to be able to get them under one roof will be outstanding.
And by the way, the beautiful facility with lakes and rolling hills, and he's very poetic in describing it, that's where Mike Zimmer is going to lock down these athletes and make them better. So they ain't going to see it. You're not. They may see some of it. But they're not going to see a lot.
But one thing, but the interesting thing about that, the 40 acres is where our practice facility will be. But we have another 160 acres that we're going to develop, where we'll have mixed-use housing, restaurants, hotels, a conference center, retreat centers, and we really want to bring in the community. We're going to have Friday night football games, high school football games. We're going to call it Skull Night, and also give young broadcast individuals an opportunity to film and be interactive in those games.
My sense also, without reading about it, is if Twin Cities Orthopedic is involved, there will be some notion of sports medicine advancement.
Absolutely.
And some and you got acreage to be able to experiment on that too.
Right. So it's good. Yeah. So we're excited. Yeah. They were a perfect partner, and we're just excited to really develop it, and hopefully it'll be the kind of prototype for going forward in the National Football League.
Speaking of partnerships, everybody talks about public-private partnerships, and not too many people really understand what it means other than a vehicle to get more public money. Your case, not the case. You do have a pretty interesting mix. You've got 350 or so from the state and 150 or so from the city. You take a substantial risk, you meaning the team and private. But the perspective of corporations between U.S. Bank and their published $220 million deal and TCO and some of your other partners, you're blessed with having a very vibrant and rich corporate community in Minnesota, but you've also taken advantage of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have, I think it's 19 Fortune 500 companies here in the Twin Cities area. A lot of also just excellent non-public companies like a Cargill. But you're right. But as you know better than anyone, these companies don't put their name on brands that aren't structured and handle their business accordingly. So it took a lot of time and energy these last couple of years to make sure that we actually had something to bring to the table, to build our brand, to build the stadium, to build our practice facility, and also to build a good football team, and then just develop an environment around the Minnesota Vikings that really, when people hear that name, it becomes synonymous with class and grace and style, and really building a best-in-class environment. So we've been fortunate to be able to do that.
That's a very important point from a business perspective for our audience. You can identify a corporate headquarter and say that's in this city, and then you assume it's going to be one meeting and you sign on the dotted line because the corporate CEO plays golf with the owner of the team, and that's it. This is rigorous. It is financial. It is legal. It is very complicated. And U.S. Bank might have been an obvious first meeting, but that in no way meant it was going to get the deal done, just like Lucas Oil in Indy or AT&T in Arlington and Dallas. These are very complicated transactions.
Every one of these relationships, first of all, starts with a relationship. You have to have a personal relationship, but they stand on their own. And so you need to develop a personal relationship, a business relationship, and it can't just be an environment where we go to a meeting and say, hey, this is how you all are going to benefit us. We need to make sure we spend the time to say that the door swings both ways, that this is how you think we can benefit the Minnesota Vikings, but vice versa. This is how we think we can be a benefit to their brand. And that's why it's really important that we keep our brand clean, build a great football team, build a great business, and also be great community partners and really help all of these wonderful companies. I'm just so excited to say we have all this business here in the Twin Cities, and most of the business that we do here is in the Twin Cities. And I think what it's doing is exposing people outside of the Twin Cities of how valuable this market is and how rich this market is.
Let's go way outside. Forbes came up with, and it's interesting because these numbers are always in some ways made up, but there's a good range. And Forbes, you're 18th in the NFL as far as value today. It'll no doubt rise after the stadium opens. But of all of the 50 international sports franchises, the Vikings are 39th on the list of their value, $1.6 billion. But it is interesting to know how international the Vikings brand has become and will become.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing we talk about. I mean, it's interesting. We have one in particular, but we have a couple fans that fly in from the UK for our home games. And so I just think the nature of our brand and the uniqueness of the colors and also the design of the uniforms and because of the international roots it has, there are some people who have followed it. But and we were fortunate a couple years ago to play in the UK against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I was really
how'd that game turn out?
It was outstanding. One, we won the football game. People stayed healthy, but I was really it just reiterated. I knew it was this way, but to be able to see the magnitude of Minnesota Vikings fans around the world was really refreshing. So,
are you a pioneer for Roger Goodell challenged his staff to deliver $25 billion annually by the end of this labor agreement, which is an interesting challenge. But so international revenue on the horizon. Are we close to looking at Real Madrid just got that $1.6 billion kit deal for 10 years?
Right.
Are we looking at international jerseys? Are we looking what kind of international revenue streams do we see?
I mean, I just think the opportunity for growth is amazing from an international standpoint. Whether it's actually from a tangible uniform related standpoint, or if it's more so from a media rights standpoint. But I think what's happening, and we constantly challenge our staff on a daily basis, that we really have to look, yes, we have to take care of our Minnesota market, and then we have to take care of the surrounding states, and then we look at our fans on a national basis, but also, this is a global game. And what are the creative ways that we can pull in fans that who may not have a chance to come here? I heard a stat recently that only 4% of the fans around the world that call themselves Vikings fans will ever come to this building. Because you think about it, if we're sold out, your season ticket holders, typically we have recurring business. But one of the things that we're focusing on here at the Vikings is the fan who lives in the UK or who lives in Paris or who lives in Sweden or Denmark.
I was going to say Scandinavian
the case may be.
affinity would be an interesting
Absolutely.
thing to look at.
That they get the same feel that when they see our Vikings brand, that when they follow us on Vikings.com, that they get a same feel as the person who actually lives here in the Twin Cities that comes to every home game.
It is interesting that it used to be a lot of the teams wanted to be last in for all of these games across the pond, and now Jaguars, Rams, others want to be first in.
Right. I just think, and again, you look where we're going to play in Mexico City this year. I mean, there's an entire potential opportunity, just the way the world is going. In China, I mean, there's just some unique opportunities. So it's exciting, as I said, to have owners like we do have who are on the forefront of looking to grow the game, and it's not only from a business standpoint. It's just from a goodness standpoint. This is an excellent game. It's football is a team building game. It's a character building game. I have a son who's going to be a senior in high school this year who's a football player, and I'm just excited that he played as a kid and in high school, and it looks like he's going to have a chance to play at the college level. So, and I just look the way it's helped him to mature and the work ethic that associated with it. So I think it's the greatest game on the planet right now. We need to spread it.
Did you hear that, agents? His kid's going to be playing at the college level. Be very careful. Be careful about that. So just a couple more on competitiveness. You were, I know people don't want to think about it, but you were a chip shot field goal away from the next round of the playoffs last year, and you're entering the first game of the world-class stadium on September 11. How do you manage expectations?
I mean, I just think part of the growth process. There may be some people who don't want to talk about how close we were last year, but I think it's good to refresh and reflect upon that we were close. But as just like every business relationship, every season stands on itself. There's no guarantee that we'll win X number of games this year. I know one thing: Coach Zimmer is an excellent coach. He's tough. He's demanding. He keeps the player's mind in a positive space. Rick Spielman has brought in a great talent. I'm excited about this season to see the young folks have an opportunity to grow, and I think we'll do extremely well. So there are other factors from injuries and all those things that go into play, but it's really exciting not only to see the organization excited, but to see this community. This community here is really excited about the Minnesota Vikings and about this new stadium.
Kevin Warren giving us a perspective for the Minnesota Vikings. A little shameless plug, by the way. The executive producer, camera carrier, and the person who was involved in this show with me is my daughter Caroline at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, up for this trip and took the tour with me of the facility, sports fan, but provided a little bit of help, and it's my show, so why not give a plug? Anyway, a great tour at US Bank Stadium, great tour from the Vikings perspective in HKS. Back with Bust, Boom, and Hope in a minute.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Inspire Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360. Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, a serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Last segment every week, bust, boom, and hope. The terrible, the okay, and the hopeful in the economy. First, bust. The NFL's current CBA set to expire after the 2020 season, and Steelers guard and player rep Ramon Foster is urging players to save money now in preparation for a lockout with the NFL. According to ESPN.com, Foster telling players to be more prepared for a potential lockout than they were last time. Saints quarterback Drew Brees also commented on the relationship between the Players Association and owners. I think, unfortunately, that's the way it's been framed now, as us versus them. Boom. Fans at this year's U.S. Open will now have a chance to walk from the locker room onto the court as if they were players. Well, sort of. American Express is using holograms in its latest activation. For 4-minute experience, it's calling it Pro Walk, Sports Business Journal says. Amex calling the holograms immersive reality and a mixed media experience. The company built a replica of the player's locker room about 18 by 20 feet with as many as 4 fans that can enter and make holograms of former champs Monica Seles and Pete Sampras. Then they can walk down a separate hallway where photographers appear to be shouting at them and taking their pictures. The only problem is a VR experience featuring Maria Sharapova, but she ain't there. Finally, hope. Bank of California officially signed on to MLS expansion club LA Football Club's first naming rights partner, $6.7 million per year, 40 branches, around $10 billion in assets. The bank will become the smallest one ever to put its name on a professional sports venue, about 1/10 the size of BBVA Compass, the bank that holds naming rights to Houston Dynamo's stadium. The deal may seem surprising given the bank's size, but reflects a web of relationships the bank's leaders have nurtured behind the scenes with the team's management. The Los Angeles-based club recently broke ground on a new stadium, which will be built on the site of LA Sports Arena and next to the LA Coliseum. Bust, boom, and hope as usual. I'd like to thank our guys from the Vikings, our guys from HKS, who walked through of U.S. Bank Stadium, getting ready for the NFL season, and the Minnesota Vikings, Kevin Warren, John Hutchings, and others. Next week, football on the college and pro variety. Join us when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.